So last question, which is more personal. So what's your favorite quote or what's your favorite source of inspiration?
As last, I'll go first this time. I think a couple of people on the call will know this, but I just am nonstop raving about a TED Talk called How to Make a Movement by Derek Sivers, S-I-V-E-R-S. Take 3 minutes out of your day. Yes, I said 3 minutes. It's the shortest TED Talk you're ever going to see. The entire TED Talk has one video playing in the background of a guy dancing in a concert and having the time of his life and looking kind of like a freak. And then by the end of the video, the entire crowd around him that first thought he was a freak are all dancing with him and having the time of his life. And it's really about the power, not of just the innovator, but the follower. The power of once you start a movement. There's a great poem by March Piercy, a civil rights activist, where she just goes from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, and how just adding those things, that's how the movement grows. What goes from an idea ends up being a major social movement. And just to watch in 3 minutes how people can unify around an idea because a second person was brave enough to join the first person. And again, I'll just end there and say that I think is a lot of what we're all doing here on this call, and what we do in all the slashes of our lives in this social entrepreneur space is we all join each other, in this case, Elaine and Ernest, in those causes.
Oh, thank you. Aimy.
Okay, well, this is more specific to alcohol beverage, but if you've heard of Tito from Tito's Vodka, he's an Austin-based entrepreneur, very legendary in the alcohol industry, and he tends to ramble and say crazy things all the time, which is awesome. And we actually got to take him to breakfast early on when we started our company, and we were like, hey man, like, we're staying up all night making this stuff, we're in stores selling it all weekend, like all our credit cards are maxed out, like how did you do this by yourself, like for 9 years? Like, how do you manage the intense lifestyle of being an entrepreneur, basically? And he just said, it's rock and roll, man. Which I feel like it's true. It's like, there's not a way to make it work. You just do it. It's your lifestyle. It's your heart. And so that's kind of how I feel like I feel like I have some musician friends where they're like, I didn't really choose to be a musician. I kind of can't not be a musician. And it kind of sounds like, a lot of the people on this call have this problem where we can't not do this kind of stuff. And it's rock and roll, baby.
This is great. Thank you, Amy. Charles, you want to finish this panel? Last quote.
Yeah, sure. So, when you sent that question, I was like, damn it. Because I don't have a favorite quote, and I don't know that I have like my a usual source of inspiration. I guess one book I do come back to fairly often is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And it's what's interesting about him is, he was a Roman emperor, and he had a lot of troubles as a Roman emperor, like invasions and wars and assassination attempts and, the kind of intrigue that you'd expect from a Roman emperor during Rome. But Meditations is basically just like his personal diary, and it reads that way. It reads like as if he's like talking to himself, and it's very intimate. And his reflections are always wise, and they have kind of a long-term view. And what strikes me is it's kind of unflinching compass of humanity and being humane and being tolerant and graceful. And so I get a lot of positive juju from that, especially if I have a rough week or something, like all entrepreneurs do sometimes.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you for